But now I have great pleasure in inviting Ian Darling, 2017 leading philanthropist, to the stage to share his reflections on his year as leading philanthropist before we announce the handover to the 2018 leading philanthropist. Ian, come up here.
Thank you, Anne.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Good evening. Firstly, I'd also like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. It was such an honour and most unexpected to get this last year. I promise I'm only going to speak for 90 seconds because the last thing you want is sort of the last year's winner getting in the way of this year's. It was very exciting going around Australia doing the masterclass, the torturous 4-hour masterclass. So sorry about that for those of you who had to put up with it. But to me, the highlight was actually meeting all the members all around Australia, and it gave me a real insight into the quality of the group of people who are a part of Philanthropy Australia and the level of engagement and the questions and seeing what people were doing around Australia. That was absolutely one of the highlights. I think one of the interesting things over the course of the year was to see the threats that are coming into our sector. And it's at a time when philanthropy is on the cusp of another renaissance, and I think Australia actually does it as well as anywhere in the world. The last thing we need is to be held back from our ability to advocate for what we believe in, and to speak up and to be out in the field showing what we believe in. And we don't want to be threatened by governments with any new laws coming in and stopping us from our ability for freedom of speech and freedom of action. So these threats are coming in, and I think one of the things I really observed this year was the importance of a group like Philanthropy Australia, to be able to bring the sector together, to be able to calmly and intelligently talk to government about whether their legislation is actually good or bad, and keep fighting for the rights of philanthropy, because without a healthy philanthropic sector in Australia, every single person in this nation will be affected. So again, that was a fantastic thing to see Philanthropy Australia doing. It was so exciting to see the sector coming together around marriage equality. I've loved being a part of the Champions program, and some of the discussions that have happened at Philanthropy Australia have, again, just blown me away. The group is quite exceptional. Seeing Philanthropy Australia take philanthropy to Parliament was one of the highlights, and then I think tonight's award ceremony is one of the great moments in the life of Philanthropy Australia, because it is so humbling to see how much great stuff is being done out in the sector. Personally, I'm such a believer in advocacy. Our Caledonia Foundation and Shark Island Institute are going to be focusing on racism heavily over the coming period, especially racism in sport. We're going to be continuing our 20-year initiative around homelessness, and we're going to be doing a deep dive into child protection around Australia. As a sector, there are a couple of things I'd love to see us all coming together for. There are so many things. Every single year there are important things, but for the next 12 months, I'd love to see us getting behind the Statement from the Heart. It was one of the greatest gifts that was ever given to this nation, and it was rejected. And I'd love to see the philanthropic community showing great leadership in ensuring that it's not rejected and it is embraced by every government and everyone in Australia. It is so important for the future of Australia. The second one too is I'd love to see more men in philanthropy getting involved in women's and girls' issues. And I think we can show great leadership there. And I think that's something that's really important. I'm really excited that in the last week I've actually joined the Women Moving Millions organisation, and I really believe in what Julie Riley is doing with the Australian Women Donors Network. And I think if more men can I'm a very late adopter, and I know so many people doing things, but I think if more men can stand up supporting publicly women and girls, again, the country will be a lot better off in the next 12 months. Thank you so much for the honour. I can't wait to hear who's going to be named Australia's leading philanthropist this year, and I look forward to many more happy years as a proud member of Philanthropy Australia. Thank you very much.